This Sunday, the AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas will see WrestleMania 32 happen. I'm really looking forward to this event. They're aiming for a new attendance record in the arena. I don't know whether it will happen or not, legitimately happen, but it's going to be a good event. Now, looking at the card and considering the build-up, it's not been one of the best build-ups, and it's, I don't think, in my personal opinion, will be one of the best WrestleMania ever, because the build-up just hasn't had that the touches to some of the feuds that they could have had. I still think, though, that looking at some of the matches, there could be some really good matches in there. There could be a smattering of a few good matches that make this event actually quite good. Not excellent, not historic, but quite good. There are 11 matches so far scheduled for WrestleMania, including the 3 pre-show matches. I'll talk about them first, and then I'll go through the main WrestleMania card. But like I said, some really good possible matches. Some top names, of course, within WWE. They have suffered with injuries. There are rumours of surprises, and like I said on the NXT pre-show, I don't know how long some of these matches will go, how much time they will have, but there is still a possibility of this being actually a quite decent WrestleMania. I'm not going to give up on the card. I'm being fairly optimistic here that it could be, if not one of the best WrestleManias ever, a decent event. The pre-show matches, first of all, Kalisto versus Ryback for the United States Championship. This is according to Wikipedia of what the pre-show matches are, because a lot of people are reporting different things, but I'll go through it as it is listed on Wikipedia. I'm going to go for Kalisto in this one, the United States Championship. Obviously, Kalisto is being pushed as kind of the new so-called Rey Mysterio, the new Latin star, the smaller guy, which is interesting when you consider they're having their Cruiserweight series in the summer. It'll be taped, according to reports, around about a period of 5 days, and then it'll be shown over 5 weeks on the WWE network sometime. I believe it's possibly around August. I'm going to go Kalisto in this match. Ryback, he made a decent star of himself. He's a better star than I actually thought he would be when he was Skip Sheffield in NXT and in the Nexus. But I'm still going for Kalisto in this one. I don't think having a United States Championship run for Ryback really would work. I think Kalisto, he's on the verge of doing something really decent this summer, and I think they should let him still run with the title post WrestleMania. The other second pre-show match, the Total Divas, Brie Bella, Paige, Natalya, Alicia Fox and Eva Marie versus Bad and Blonde, which is Lana, Summer Rae, Naomi, Emma and Tamina. This was a kind of hastily put together one to have, I think it's to help promotion, obviously, for the Total Divas program. So I think I'm going to give it to them, because I think the last few WrestleManias where they've had, since the Total Divas so-called, I think it's really, to be honest, a scripted reality show. I think the Total Divas have come out with the victory. So I'm going to go Total Divas for the win. That's Brie Bella, Paige, Natalya, Alicia Fox and Eva Marie. Even though Eva Marie is in the kind of babyface role, where she's been, I think, a much better heel in NXT. She's worked as a heel or a bad girl in NXT, and I thought that suited her more, because the people generally they don't like her, but I think it's more generally they don't like her rather than any acts that she's done, or the strength of her character. I mean, on-screen character in NXT. People just don't like her. I'm going to go Total Divas, because it might very well be a goodbye to Brie Bella, so I think they might get the victory. The third and final pre-show match, it's the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, versus the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray Dudley and Demon Dudley. To be honest, I'm a bit annoyed, and although we may see these guys some of these pre-show people in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, due to the amount of injuries that WWE have suffered, the likes of Luke Harper, Seth Rollins, Cesaro, etc. I think we may see a couple of these pre-show competitors on WrestleMania. It would be great if we did to let them have a WrestleMania appearance. I'm a bit annoyed though the Dudley Boys are not challenging for the Tag Team Championship, although the Tag Team Championship, and I'll get to that, it's apparently not on the line at WrestleMania. It saddens me. I'll talk about that in a moment. But I can see the Usos winning this, to be honest. I think they're looking, from watching stuff going on the last couple of weeks, I think it looks like we're going to have a rerun of about 18 months or so ago when the Usos were dominating the WWE as a tag team. So I can see the Usos taking the victory. I'd like to see the Dudley Boys win, but I think the Usos will probably win. Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso, I think, will take the victory. So that is the pre-show matches. So the is, just to make sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches scheduled currently for the main show. First match, I'll talk about that the kind of tag team titles now. The New Day, Kofi Kingston, Big E and Xavier Woods versus League of Nations, King Barrett, Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio and Rusev. It's a 3-on-4 handicap match. Again, last year the Tag Team Championship match was on the pre-show. I believe that, I'm sure it was last year when the Usos was already injured but got taken out of the match very early. I think that was to allow him to have a WrestleMania payday, so you can say, oh, he appeared in the match, we'll pay you your WrestleMania salary, because reportedly it's always a little bit higher if you appear on the event or card. Although, to be honest, I do personally think that even on the pre-show, it is a WrestleMania appearance, because you are wrestling at that event, in that building, at that event. Even though it's pre-show, it's not on the so-called main show, it is still a WrestleMania appearance to me, although it's not officially. It's not a lot of people, some people don't think it is, but personally it's at least a WrestleMania kind of appearance. So, no Tag Team Championships on the line. I would have loved to have seen, the Dudley Boys go against the New Day for the Tag Team Championship. I thought, honestly, a few weeks ago, that's what they were building to. We had that whole thing from the Dudley Boys. We want to be Tag Team Champions again. We want to hold those Tag Team Championships one more time. And I thought, what a great, perfect place to do it would be WrestleMania in Dallas, Texas. Okay, it's not an area the Dudley Boys were really known for. It is, it is WrestleMania, which they of course had some great matches at. It's not, Dallas, Texas. It's not Philadelphia. It's not one of the areas that were really popular in like ECW. But it would have been a great place to, even on the pre-show, crown them as tag team champions and have them go against some of, even tour the tag team championships, going against the likes of the Ascension and all those guys, the tag teams that we're getting kind of to see the Dudley Boys against, but the ones that we really haven't seen them feud against. So I'm going to go on this match. I'm really not sure. To be honest, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I'm going to go New Day for the victory in that handicap match. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, announced participants for that is Heath Slater, Curtis Axel, Adam Rose, Bo Dallas, The Big Show, Kane, Tyler Breeze, Mark Henry, Jack Swagger, Fandango, Damien Sandow, Darren Young, Victor, Goldust and R-Truth. Like I said, we might see the pre-show. The rest of them will be made up of the guys who are not booked so far, who have not got a match or anything to do with the card so far at WrestleMania, including the Wyatts, and I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt for the victory. I said it before, and I'm sticking to my guns. I would like to see a darkness creep over the WWE. I would like to see Bray Wyatt really. I know some people say he's been suffering from a back injury. I would hope kind of by now he's at least starting to recover. In actual fact, one of my friends, Ewan, who was actually, the time he's not been there, was a local professional weekend warrior wrestler with Scottish Wrestling Entertainment. Actually had lunch, happened to be in the same restaurant. Ewan is in Dallas. He used to wrestle under the name Claymore. He actually had dinner just within about an hour or so of me recording this, in actually the same restaurant as Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas, who of course are brothers. I would like to see Bray Wyatt win this and have a darkness around WWE and go after the WWE Championship and go after Roman Reigns. Maybe that's giving away my main event thoughts, but giving away Roman Reigns or Triple H to really go after the WWE Championship and have really had the darkness. We've not really had that type of character on the main roster for many years. The Undertaker's been part-time for about a decade or so now, so I'd like to see Bray Wyatt take the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. This is one of the matches that I think could be a really good match. I said this mattering of potentially good matches, and this is one of them. I don't think the couple of matches they've had, I don't think the chemistry has been quite there. As it's not exactly the huge 5-star wrestling match that they could have had. But I'm looking forward to it. I think this could be at least a really good, solid match. I'm going to go AJ Styles for the victory because I love to see AJ Styles having a WrestleMania moment. I know Chris Jericho's actually lost. I forget the statistics, but somebody shared it on Facebook yesterday that I believe Chris Jericho's actually lost at WrestleMania more times than people I think would realise. I think he's lost. I think like more than half of his appearance at WrestleMania he's lost, but I like to see AJ Styles have his WrestleMania moment. There's at least one moment for AJ Styles at WrestleMania, although I'm sure, hopefully, if he keeps injury free, if nothing bad happens, we'll see him next year. So AJ Styles for the win over Chris Jericho. The Intercontinental Championship ladder match. I do hope this is not WWE setting out too many of these annual events. Sometimes I do get the feeling that WWE want to tie themselves into too many annual events, and what I mean by that is, so it's like they used to have Money in the Bank every, I think it was June. Every June, July they had Money in the Bank. We know it's coming up. And then of course I think it was October. Every October, Hell in a Cell. And then I mean, some of them are good, like every January at Royal Rumble, but I would not like to see WWE be confining themselves into too many annual events that take place. So it lacks excitement. It will lack creativity in the booking as well. If you've got to squeeze this into this period into this space because they're both going. They're both going to end up, say, in the Money in the Bank match, or they're both going to end up in the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. It kind of stops their creativity and putting feuds and storylines together. The ladder match features, of course, Kevin Owens defending against Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Zack Ryder, Sin Cara, The Miz, and Stardust. I'm going to go for Sami Zayn in this one. I said Shinsuke Nakamura for his NXT match because I want Nakamura to win, and like I said, I think Sami Zayn's match on Friday night is going to be most probably his last. I think that's what everybody's thinking, at least considering at this time. I'm going to go Sami Zayn because I would love to see Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens in WWE in a big time match, an event. Kevin Owens, he's held the Intercontinental Championship a couple of times now, and of course he took it after Dean Ambrose, really obviously freeing Dean Ambrose, I think, to perhaps go into the main event picture for the WWE Championship again. post WrestleMania. I'm going to go Sami Zayn in this one. I would love to see him winning the Intercontinental Championship. It'll be another great WrestleMania moment for WWE to use again and again. Charlotte will defend the Divas Championship against Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks in a triple threat match. And again, I said it on the NXT preview, there is rumours and reports that WWE are considering rebranding the Divas Championship into the Women's Championship again. Lots of different reports. I don't know whether it'll happen, but whatever the championship is called, I think this again could be a good match. Charlotte has come along fantastically since she started in NXT. Becky Lynch, a fan of Becky Lynch. I'm going to pick Becky Lynch actually for this victory. I would like to see Becky Lynch take the Divas Championship. She works hard. Each one of these three ladies are going to, at least at one stage, obviously Charlotte already holds it, but both Becky and Sasha Banks are going to hold the Divas Championship, or whatever it's called, post-WrestleMania. Rumours are that they're going to announce something on Monday. Whatever happens, both of those two ladies, Becky and Sasha Banks, are going to hold that title, regardless of name, at some point, I believe by the end of the year. Both of them will have held or be holding the championship. Sasha, she's done her role well. She's come up from NXT after having some fantastic matches with the likes of Bayley, some classic matches. But I like to see Becky Lynch steal the show and steal the victory. Some come together with Ric Flair against Sasha when Sasha's got Charlotte on the ropes and about to beat Charlotte. Ric Flair tries to interfere, maybe knocks, I don't know, he can't physically punch Sasha, but distracts Sasha so that perhaps Charlotte takes out Sasha Banks and then turns around and Becky Lynch is right there and makes Charlotte tap out to take the Divas Championship. Something like that would be great. But I'm picking Becky Lynch for this. And to be honest, I'm not being too compulsive with it if I happen to actually be wrong with at least some of these picks from a victory, but it's what I would like to see happen. Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker, Hell in a Cell match. If Shane wins, he wins control of Raw, and if Undertaker loses, it'll be his last WrestleMania. Now, to be honest, this is Undertaker's last WrestleMania. Even if Shane wins, it's very easy for this Undertaker last WrestleMania to be done away with. I think WWE are possibly planning or pinning their hopes at least on Sting versus The Undertaker. If Sting can go, we all know the situation. Sting possibly could wrestle again, might not. We genuinely do not know at this stage, and Sting himself does not know at this stage. That can be easily reversed by Shane, or The Undertaker can. There's easy ways around it. Shane can say, you know what, I will not keep you to that stipulation. You are more than welcome to appear in my WrestleMania next year, if Shane still has control next year of Raw, which effectively you're seeing, if Vince has said it, and then Triple H has said it, Stephanie McMahon has said it, that pretty much if Shane runs Raw, then he'll pretty much run WWE, which I think may be a good thing, a little break from the Authority, because we're going to see them in years and years and years to come, Triple H and Stephanie running the show, so some time off for them from their on-stage role, however much Shane can or will be there in person to run Raw, SmackDown. I mean, then you could always take videos and have him supposedly be on the kind of on Skype and be watching the event and sending a video or interrupting. He's supposedly on Skype. He's supposedly live, but it's actually a pre-recorded video, and you could alter matches and storylines or whatever. So it's very, very easily done. WWE have done it before. For this match, I'm hating to say it, but I would like The Undertaker to lose. I'd like Shane McMahon to win. I thought that flying elbow onto The Undertaker was tremendous on Monday Night Raw. I know Shane is going to do something risky. Some people are saying it's going to be a dive off the top of the cell, or even I saw some people on Twitter saying perhaps they'll do something to the roof of the cage where he dives from the roof, kind of like Mick Foley-esque when Undertaker chokeslams Mick Foley on the top of the cell in 1998 at the King of the Ring, and Mick Foley went through the roof of the cell. Maybe something like that, where they'll remove a section of the roof and Shane can do a leap, maybe perhaps at an elbow drop from the roof into the ring. I don't know, but I'm going to go Shane McMahon because I like to see WWE and the Authority change, because the way it is now, the product it is now, it's not going as well as it could, and I honestly feel there needs to be some kind of creative change. There needs to be some kind of on-screen change. So I think Shane McMahon running WWE, it would be good. A lot of the call-ups that we're hearing about, possible, like the likes of Bayley, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson coming in, perhaps as Balor Club, and possible roster changes that we may see happen. I'd like to see that happen. So I'm going to go Shane McMahon. It hurts me to say it because I was at a WrestleMania party, which I'm probably not going to attend this year. Any party, I'll probably, just things going on, I'll probably just stay at home and watch WrestleMania, just for the sake of being here for things on Monday. But I was at a WrestleMania party and I saw the reaction when The Undertaker, and I felt my own reaction. That sense of when The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak ended, we were all shocked. We were all just taken aback by it. So I hate to say it, but I think Shane McMahon should win. Like I said, the Undertaker stipulation about it being his last WrestleMania, if it comes to the fact that they can put Sting against the Undertaker, which is a match I know Sting wants. I've talked about it before when he appeared the UK tour with Inside the Ropes. He talked about it and said, and he was asked again in Glasgow, the show that I was at, who's your ideal WrestleMania opponent? And he said, of course, it would be The Undertaker. I think they're kind of pinning their hopes slightly on having that match, which I don't think would be as good a match as it could have been again, but I won't go into that. But Shane McMahon, I think, needs to win at WrestleMania. The penultimate match, Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar. Now, this is a difficult one. Listening to the Bell to Bell radio podcast on Spreaker, which is also always live on Wednesday nights, the chat room and even the presenters, Chris Duke, The Gru and Charles Phoenix, they were split between who should or who will win in this one. Certainly various people in the chat room thought Dean Ambrose, various people thought Brock Lesnar, and this is one of the most difficult ones of the WrestleMania card for me. I think probably the most difficult one to decide who I'm going to pick to win. To be honest, I think that I know Brock Lesnar is signed a new deal. I think he's possibly even about a year, if that, in his 3-year deal. I would like to see Dean Ambrose take the victory, and to be honest, in this one. But the reason being, like I was talking about the Intercontinental Championship ladder match, Ambrose was really relieved of the Intercontinental Championship, and I know it was a very temporary thing recently to go after the WWE Championship. He faced Triple H at Roadblock, which I still haven't watched, unfortunately, but from what the highlights I've seen, it was a really good match, and it seemed that was the kind of the start of his push, the real start of pushing Dean Ambrose for the WWE Championship. And I understand you can only have so many people in the main event of WrestleMania, and we will see Dean Ambrose main event of WrestleMania in the next few years. So I'm picking Dean Ambrose because I think it would benefit Dean Ambrose more than it would hurt Brock Lesnar, for Lesnar to lose. Dean Ambrose, I think, again, I said earlier on, I like Bray Wyatt to push for the WWE Championship. I'd like to see Dean Ambrose somewhere in and amongst that lot as well. Maybe a triple threat next year at WrestleMania for the championship. And we've got Seth Rollins coming back in a few months. A lot of guys coming back, hopefully healthy, hopefully just as good over the next few months. But right now, WrestleMania, I like to see Dean Ambrose beat Brock Lesnar. We've seen it with likes of Terry Funk giving Dean Ambrose the chainsaw and Mick Foley giving him the barbed wire baseball bat that he calls Barbie. But I think Dean Ambrose needs to be pushed to the main event stage, and I think a Dean Ambrose Roman Reigns feud, we haven't seen it yet. I think to be honest, that would be the most logical feud at this point is to push Dean Ambrose to Roman Reigns, and maybe Dean Ambrose turn heel a little bit. Talking about the main event, Roman Reigns, I don't think Roman Reigns will get the reaction I think WWE want him to. I think Roman Reigns, they want him to be cheered. They want him to be actually, be the people's hero. Go into WrestleMania being the people's favourite, being the one that the people really get behind. And it's always difficult with a WrestleMania to really, and I'm sure Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and all those guys' experience of the different cities. I mean, particularly Bret Hart in 1997. You go to different arenas. These guys have, especially in the early 90s, they got very different reactions. Some people even booed like the Undertaker. Some people cheered Shawn Michaels in like Texas, and obviously Bret Hart got cheered tremendously in Canada in about 97 when he was doing the whole pro-Canadian feud with Steve Austin, which led to the WrestleMania match, and obviously the Survivor Series match with Shawn Michaels. But it's very difficult with an international crowd to know, really second guess what kind of reaction that you'll get, even if you want one. Like I said, they really want Roman Reigns, people to have got behind Roman Reigns. Whether this international crowd will get behind Roman Reigns, I don't know. I think he's not going to get the reaction that they want. I think he'll get a Rumble style reaction with a lot of boos and a lot of jeering. But to be honest, I'm still going to pick Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship victory in the main event of WrestleMania. Main reason why is because, like I said, I think Shane McMahon should take the victory over The Undertaker. I would like to see, and I want to see, a change at the top in WWE, at least on screen. I know Triple H and Stephanie and Vince will all be still behind the scenes and be pulling the strings on whatever happens. But I think on screen it could do with a refreshment, a break from the Authority. And I would like to see Roman Reigns have a decent period of time as champion. The last, I think, how many times he's held the WWE Championship? Twice or so now? It's been very, very brief runs, and I would like to see him having a decent length of time holding the championship. That's really going to possibly be make or break for Roman Reigns. The length, if he holds the WWE Championship for a length of time, for a decent length of time, we'll really see whether it works or not, and see whether WWE would make any voluntary changes to Roman Reigns' character. I talked about Dean Ambrose going heel, maybe Roman Reigns going heel, or certainly being more aggressive, or changing his character. It's a little bit flat right now, the character of Roman Reigns. It's a bit 2D in my opinion. He needs another, a bit more depth to it. A little something is slightly missing to the character in my eyes right now. So it would give them at least a decent length of run as WWE champion. Would give WWE the chance to analyse what reaction he's getting in various cities on the different TV programs. And I know it's it's the worst place in the world to have to experiment as to experiment with your world heavyweight champion is one of the worst things in professional wrestling, sports entertainment. It's a horrible thing. You shouldn't have to experiment with your champion. But unfortunately, I think WWE are in the position where they're going to have to do that. They're going to have to see what reaction Roman Reigns gets as champion in the various states and shows that they do, and try and adjust his character and adjust the storylines to get whatever reaction they think is preferable. If they want to turn him heel, then turn him heel. If they want to try and rescue, said if he gets booed, they want to have him as a babyface, then try and adjust his character so he pleases the fans a lot more, so they're more inclined to cheer him. And it's a horrible place. It'd be a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing to have to experiment with your champion. But I think that's the position that WWE are in. So I'm going to go Roman Reigns to the WWE Championship. Triple H doesn't gain anything from beating Roman Reigns, but I think Roman Reigns, solid run, a decent length of run as WWE Champion, I think is the best thing moving forward for the company. So WrestleMania this Sunday, it's obviously people are going to stay up for it. I mean, people always say it. One of the real frequent things on social media is, oh, if WrestleMania is rubbish, if this Raw is rubbish, if this event is rubbish, I'm never watching again. But within at least a couple of weeks or so, or perhaps even the next show, people are watching again. Like I said, I don't think this is going to be one of the most memorable WrestleManias. I think there's, like I said, a few potentially good matches if they're given the right time, if they're given a decent amount of time to do their stuff, if they don't worry too much about getting their shit in, as they say. If they pace it well, I think this could be a good WrestleMania with some good matches. And like I said, we may look back on this WrestleMania as one that, okay, maybe it wasn't the best, maybe it wasn't the most. Not many people, if anybody, will pick it as their favourite WrestleMania ever, but it could contribute to great changes within the WWE and perhaps contribute to a brighter future for the company. I think people should take advantage of the free WrestleMania. I don't agree with that. I've said it before. I don't agree with them having this free month of WrestleMania that includes WrestleMania. Why? I mean, it doesn't make any business sense at all why you should give your biggest event of the year away for free, because people are going to sign up just so they can get a group of mates, a group of friends or whatever around or to a venue to watch WrestleMania, and then they're going to quit after the free month. We know people are going to do that. It does not make any sense to me. It's stupid to me. But unless WWE are doing it because they've got plans for the summer, and they've got good plans for the summer in place, it makes no sense. So that's what I'm kind of hoping that that WWE are doing, that they've got plans for this coming summer, and they know what they're doing, and they've got great things ahead. So it's going to be good this coming Sunday. Special start time of 12 AM UK time, I believe. It's obviously going to be 4 hour long. It's going to be good. I'm going to sit obviously and watch it. With little commitments really on the Monday. Stuff I have to really, to be honest, be here for. So I don't need to worry about going out anywhere and then getting back after the event or staying over anywhere. But it's going to be a decent event. I'm looking forward to it, and obviously, I'll probably do an NXT takeover review if I can on the Saturday, and then some point during next week I'll do a WrestleMania review. And of course there's the big Monday Night Raw. The post-Mania Monday Night Raw is always something happening on it. Certainly the results of WrestleMania are going to shape Monday Night Raw. We could be in for some big changes. We could be some, like I said, positive steps for the company. Whatever happens, it's going to be good to see. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully WWE know what they're doing, know what their plans are, and have some great things happening post WrestleMania for WWE fans. The product, it's not the greatest, but like I said, it's WrestleMania. Whatever happens, it's WrestleMania. I know that the WWE performers are going to try their utmost to put on a really good show, so I think people should relax and try to remember that fact as they watch WrestleMania. But looking forward to it. It's finally WrestleMania weekend. It's finally happening on Sunday. WrestleMania 32 from the AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas. I know millions of people around the world will be watching, and I look forward to seeing what people's reaction to the event is also.